Illumination Entertainment is making their second attempt at a Dr. Seuss adaptation with The Grinch, arguably Dr. Seuss's most famous work, thanks in no small part to the 1966 animated holiday special and the 2000 Ron Howard film. Now, I'm just going to say it, based on the different Dr. Seuss adaptations that have come out in recent years, I was not expecting a whole lot from this film. I'm not a huge fan of the other films. My favorite one, by far, is actually Horton Hears a Who. And I haven't seen that since it was out in theaters. So I might not even like it nowadays. The 2000 Ron Howard film was a bit polarizing. Some people love it, some people hate it. I'm more on the latter. I think it had a lot of problems, but as far as Dr. Seuss adaptations go, it's not the worst one. I still haven't been able to sit through the entirety of Mike Myers' Cat in the Hat. It is that frickin' bad. As far as the Lorax goes, it's basically equivalent to somebody taking a knife, stabbing subtlety in the back, cutting off their head, gutting them, taking their intestines, and then using it to write the script for the Lorax. But anyway, the new Grinch, I feel, is a step up from the 2000 version. But how much of a step up? One of the first things I want to talk about is one of my biggest complaints with the 2000 version was the Who's themselves. These were horrible, horrible people. The whole point of the Who's is that they're happy, they're fun-loving, they enjoy life, they can enjoy material possessions and celebrate Christmas with their gaudy decorations, these huge feasts. Just they're out and out, go all out with their ostentatiousness. But take that away, and they're still happy because they have each other. They have community. They don't need material things in order to be happy. The thing is, in the 2000 version, when the Grinch did that, he won. The Who's wound up miserable because they didn't have their things. And it completely upends the whole point of the Who's. They're so competitive, so materialistic, to the point that the Grinch is actually right. They made him the sensible one. They fixed that for the new one, and for that I am extremely grateful. Another thing that I like more in the new one is the Grinch's backstory. Actually, but the thing is, his backstory, this is something that bothers me, it just bothers me at all. It doesn't matter if it's the 2000 version, the 2018 version. The thing is, the Grinch has no backstory in the book. They don't know why he's, such a grumpy, mean, green man. They even say that. No one knows. And I think it kind of destroys the purpose of him to actually give him a backstory. I know in today's modern cinema, or modern age of cinema, we're trying to make characters more relatable. But still, I think it takes something away from the character himself when they do that. Nevertheless, I do think they did a better job in the 2018 version. Because in the 2000 version, going back to what I was saying about the Who's, and on top of being materialistic and competitive, they're also extremely fucking judgmental. And the backstory they give him in that version, they make you sympathize with the Grinch and hate the Who's. It's not supposed to go that way. In the 2018 version, they do fix that. They don't do anything to make you dislike the Who's. And they don't focus so much on his backstory. I mean, they do a good job of, they present it and they use it and bring it to the limelight to give a better explanation as to why he is the way he is. Again, not something I'm happy with overall, but the way they use it in the film, I do think they did a good job with that. So credit where credit is due. But judging this film as a film, this movie might as well have been called How the Grinch Padded Its Runtime. The original 1966 holiday special actually had to pad its runtime. It actually had to add certain embellishments in order to get it to a half an hour. And yet, here they're trying to get it to between an hour and a half to 2 hours long. And now I have to give credit to the 2000 version. It actually felt like a movie. They actually put effort into actually making it seem like a coherent narrative. The The new one just seems like a bunch of random elements and setup for what amounted to a pretty weak payoff. The actual scene where he steals Christmas is over way too quickly. And just like with the 2000 version, they also gave Cindy Lou Who a much bigger role. They didn't copy her side story in that version, they gave her something new, but again, it's more padding to a film that doesn't really need it. I don't think Pharrell Williams was a great choice to do the narration. Yes, there's narration in this film, and I think it's a nice touch, but they mix the old narration with some new narration, it doesn't really work. But also, the thing is, Pharrell Williams, he's got a bit of a higher pitched voice, and Boris Karloff, he's got a deeper voice. I think it was better in terms of just the narration for the film. It's smoother. I think it fits more. That's my personal bias. But it's Illumination Entertainment. Pharrell Williams makes them happy. I guess I should probably mention Benedict Cumberbatch. He did a fine job. He did good work with the material that he was given. It just so happens that the material he was given was not very good. So, even though I do think there were some problems in this film as compared to the 2000 version, I still have to give higher marks to the recent version, because the 2000 version, it did so many things wrong, in my opinion, that it actually made me angry at certain points. I mean, it does feel like a Dr. Seuss film, and you can see the work they put into it, but for me, I just didn't like the directions that they took it. So I do think the 2018 version is definitely a step up, but I can't really call it a good movie. There's nothing really wrong with it, it's just, it lacks any real substance for me to really say it's good. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. I think it might be fun for kids. It got some laughs throughout it. I even chuckled a few times. It had some funny jokes. But I think if you're going to watch The Grinch, you might as well stick with the half-hour holiday special.